tips to handle people full of excuses. So I know we talked a wee bit about this before we even hit record. I think you and I have a little bit of a different approach or different opinion of this. So
Not at
I'm
all.
intrigued. I'm intrigued to hear your tip. What would you say is your first tip about dealing with somebody who's full of excuses? What would you say?
I'm actually going to do a different one, which is not really different, which is everyone wants to be seen, heard, and acknowledged. And
Yes.
and I'm going down that path. So when people are making excuses or whatever's happening,
Debz is a stressologist. She will stretch your mindset to think bigger than you've ever thought before, with follow-through techniques that are realistic and achievable to blow any fear out of your mind. Moira is a mindset cultivator. She will help you align your personal trinity of self-trust, inner awareness, and self-confidence so that you discover and share your unique gifts and purpose. Together, their goal with these conversations is to share how our inclinations do not always work in our best interest and to provide the knowledge to leverage the gifts that already exist within each one of us. Their desire is to help you learn how to access the habits and behaviors that will lead to positive change and your best quality of life. Welcome to your deliciously motivated mindset.
Welcome, welcome, welcome. Welcome, dear listeners. Welcome, dear Debs.
hi.
Here we are with another one of our deliciously motivated mindset podcast conversations with Debs. That would be
That's me. That's me. That's me.
and me. That's Moira.
That's
And
her.
today,
That's her.
what's that?
I said, that's her. That's her. That's her.
This is me. This is me. I'm intrigued by where we're going to go with this conversation today. We're going to be talking about tips to handle people full of excuses. It'll be interesting to see where this goes, and we trust that we give you good content and help you feel more zen. And what I mean by that is that's where we start. At the beginning of each one of our podcast episodes, we do something we call the PEMS check-in. So the PEMS is I call it the 4 pillars of us, 4 pillars of you. PEMS stands for physical, emotional, mental, and spiritual. And so I like to think of each of those 4 as the legs of a table. And each one of them needs to be attended to and looked after by you in order to have some levelness, to balance. Yes, levelness. There, I just made up a new word. Yes, to have balance, to feel stable. So that's what we do. And we assess that on a scale of 0 to 10. 0 is totally level, calm, blissed out, zen. And 10 is completely discombobulated, not balanced, feeling really chaotic. And the truth is we move up and down that scale. But that's why this is such an important check-in. A lot of my clients, I have them check in throughout their day. Like they check in at the top of their day and then maybe throughout their day, just to assess, what do I need? Do I need to have a little bit of physical care here? Do I need to have some self-soothing, or do I need to do something with all this blah, blah, blah chatter in my head? things of that nature. So all that being said, what we do is we'll give ourselves a number here, and we encourage you to write it down, and then check in with yourself halfway through, and then we'll all check in at the end of our conversation. So all that being said, dear Deb, where are you?
1.5.
Okay. There was a lot of surety there.
I was listening to you talk about that and I was checking in and then I went, you're overthinking, Deborah. Come on, just get back to what is it? And I was like, it's a 1.5.
Yep.
And
Mine's
if it's a 2
1.5
and if it's
too.
a 1, then it's no biggie, like whatever.
It is just what it is. So mine's a 1.5 also. And you see, this is not about excuses of like, oh, if I say it's going to be that, then maybe this, and that's just too much, blah, blah, blah. So pick the number, you
Right.
can't get it wrong.
Yeah,
And
pick the number.
yeah, and then
Kiss,
you
keep it super simple.
there.
No, keep it simple, sweetheart.
That's right. That's my version of it. And yes, keep it
Debz is
simple,
a bit
sweetheart.
different.
So,
Yeah.
tips to handle people full of excuses. So, I know we talked a wee bit about this before we even hit record. I think you and I have a little bit of a different approach or different opinion of this. So I'm
Not at all.
intrigued. I'm intrigued to hear your tip. What would you say is your first tip about dealing with somebody who's full of excuses? What would you say?
I'm actually going to do a different one, which is not really different, which is everyone wants to be seen, heard, and acknowledged.
Yes.
And I'm going down that path. So when people are making excuses or whatever's happening, people just want, I truly believe we all want to be seen, heard, and acknowledged. You don't have to agree with them, but it's a level of respect, and it's even just the word, I don't really like the word respect. This reminds me of talking to my nana or my nana's nana or something like that, but go ancient back. But it's just it's a level of integrity within yourself. It's what feels right for you. So if you can see someone when they're doing these, using all these excuses, if you can see them and you can hear them and you can acknowledge them, you don't have to agree with them. You don't have to agree with them. If you can see, hear, and acknowledge, the energy towards those people who are making all those excuses already shifts. It's a different energy exchange when you can see someone, you can hear them, and you can acknowledge them. And when you're having that conversation with someone, you get frustrated if you're not seen, heard, and acknowledged.
True. Yeah. So where I want to take this for my
Here we
tip.
go now.
No, so where I'm coming from with this about is, let's say that somebody says they want to come and they want to do something for you. Like they like you to, they want to, I don't know, pick up groceries for you.
Yeah.
But then you think, oh, great. Okay. I don't have to think about getting groceries picked up because so-and-so said they were going to do it for me. But then they start saying, oh, I didn't have gas in my car. And oh, there was a roadblock. And oh, it was raining. Or oh, it was this. Then what my tip is that if there's explanations or excuses as to why the person did not come through to do the thing they said they were going to, then I just let them off the hook. Because it's kind of like, okay, you can make excuses and tell me reasons as to why you didn't come through of what you said you were going to do. So my tip is, it's not about you, it's about me. Okay, now I'm just going to go pick up my groceries by myself. Does that make sense?
Yeah, and I think that word obligation comes in. If you're doing anything for obligation, it's ugly. It's not a pleasant energy exchange. It's not a pleasant feeling for you. It's not, oh, I've got to do this because I owe them something, or they've got to do this because that, and it's that whole thing. So when you're right, when they started giving excuses or explanations, see, hear, and acknowledge them, and then just go, that's okay, and cut that tie, isn't it? Letting it go, just letting them go. Well, thank you, and I'll carry on, but without taking on their, I'm so sorry, let me do it, overcompensating.
Right, because that's where I was coming from, is that overcompensating was, well, I was going to do it and I really wanted to and I really meant to, but it's like what is that? There's a saying that says, we don't see things as they are, we see them as we are. Right? And so within somebody who's giving lots of excuses, then they're kind of projecting a should. I should take care of you. I should do these things for you. But they don't really want to. Maybe they don't have the bandwidth. Maybe they got too many things on. Maybe they're over promising their time. But so to me, when an excuse keeps coming up, then it's like, it's okay. I'd rather the person just say, no, you know what, I can't. Doesn't work
So
for me. I don't have the bandwidth.
how many excuses or explanations do you take before you cut them free? Would be
That's I'm like, gosh, that's a big question.
I know. And that is actually, I'm going to say how many excuses or explanations. There is actually no right number.
No, there isn't.
And
it's going to do with the energy of it too, right?
I know. And I just want to say that because there's Moira went, well, you're asking a question there's no answer to. Literally, see her face like, what the heck, Deborah? But it was more to say because sometimes people are listening to us for guidance to say, so Moira, do we need to do 3 times? Like I literally, is it 3 times I need to do it and then I let them go? Or is it 2? But I don't want to let them go at 2. Like there is no proof. And so the answer is, thank goodness, Moira's looking at me like what?
Phew.
There is no answer. You're going to put an answer on here? No, there is no amount of times. It can happen once, it can happen twice, it can happen 3, it can happen 100 times. It's only when your bandwidth goes, I'm done.
Yeah.
And that is a flexibility based on your PEMS. I'm just going to say, based on those 4 pillars to hold that table up. If you've got a lot of chaos going on around you and you can't see center and poise, and you're sitting in that 10 and someone gives you another excuse, you're just going to be like, you're possibly going to react differently than if you're sitting in a 1 state.
Mm-hmm. The one that I want to kind of put in on the heels of that is that I really encourage people to trust their intuition. And that might help you assess, to your point about how many excuses before you say, it's okay, I'm going to just go do it by myself. Or I realize that you're not going to, right? So it's about, if you tap into your intuition, that may see that in one circumstance, one excuse says, oh, that person wasn't really genuine, or they weren't going to do it, or they were thinking they should.
Well, your stories start going yourself, don't they?
Yeah. But then if your inner guidance might sort of say, it's okay, they're trying their best. Or, because sometimes when people make excuses, it is because they did really mean it when they said it. Because that's the other part that I think is really important, is that if somebody promises you something, or if you promise something, and then you get to the place of you're going to do it, like let's say you were promising something for next week, and then you get there and I can't do it. I don't have the bandwidth. I don't have the resources. I don't have the alignment to it. It's okay, but honor that. It's not making an excuse, because it's about really being authentic and aligned with. I said, because you see what I'm thinking. The thing that's going on in my head right now is the bloody mindedness that can sometimes happen of like, well, dang it, I said I was going to do it, so I have to do it, even if I'm like dragging my leg and
even if I have to get out of hospital early to go and do this one job for a friend because I said I would do it. I've got
said I was doing it.
So actually, I said, what's going on in your head? And he literally rattled off all these things that he had to do. And we literally, this is so funny as I just say this, because I literally got him to list everything. And then I went, okay, now let's look at this. Where did this come from? And it was just literally, he's like, well, actually, that's because I said I'd do it. That's because and 90% of the things that were causing him chaos was because he had said, I can do that for you. I can do that. Yeah, I can do that. I can do that. And he literally got to me when he's in burnout state, like bedridden with overwhelming. And of course, when I was like, I know where I'm going with this one, and we got to list it all out, and I started, and of course I started laughing because I knew exactly when he listed all these things out. And so it was those, I intended on doing it, but now I run out of time, or I've run out of money, or they've peeved me off, or there's all these, whatever, his own stories that I'm not, and that just literally immobilized him to nearly being in bed with. That's
crazy. Did he see it when you had him
as soon as he saw the list down, as soon as he saw the list down, I said, are you ready to tackle this? And he just started laughing himself. And I said, can you see this? He said, no, let's work on this list, because I'm not ready to say what I can see already. And after about the third one, he was like, yeah, okay, I did think what I could see was going to be the same thing. And it was beautiful. It didn't take him long, but it was just It was just also, which actually is a great tip to go, sometimes you just want to hold energy and space for them.
Yeah.
You know, don't go, you're an a-hole, you've done this to me 3 times before.
Right,
You know,
right. Yeah.
uh,
That's that 4 agreements thing. Always do your best.
I've literally
Then,
written down don't make assumptions on their world. Yeah,
yeah.
be impeccable with their word. Don't take anything personally, which is a heavy one. You know, oh, they said they would do it, you know, but always do your best.
And understand that everybody else is always doing their best. So
Absolutely.
you
And
don't then look it back and go, oh, it's all about me. They broke their word because it's all about me.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
But yeah, because that's what I'm saying is, and I know that for myself, I have resembled that of, dang it, I said I was going to do it. So come hell or high water, I
I'm
am
gonna
going
do
to
it.
do it. I'm going to come through. But
We all have that in us. We
yeah,
all have human. I think the thing is acknowledging you're actually human, people.
yeah.
Well, I'd like to think you're human if you're listening to this, you
Oh,
know.
I'm not human.
Maybe
I'm
not.
only
I'm
part
not.
human.
But you're human with human experiences that you're having here.
Yeah, yeah.
But
And so that's the thing is that it's so important to really stay present to what is, right? So it's like, this is what I was saying, whether somebody's promised you something or you've promised somebody something to do something, that you're going to show up or do something, you 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 owe them the best version of you.
yeah.
And so by breaking your word, by saying, I really wanted to come through and do that, but give them an alternative, right? I can't, like I'm my cup is run empty and I need to reset or whatever it is you need to do, right? But
Yeah.
making an excuse to me is more about kind of getting into animating a falsity, like making a story, as opposed to just saying, I said I was going to do it. I don't have the bandwidth. Can I circle back next week? That's it. No excuse there. It's taking a complete ownership for it, right?
Totally. And when you do that, you can also offer them a solution. Say, look, you know what? I
Yeah.
can't do it this week, but I can do it next week. Or I can't do it this week, but I know somebody who can.
Yes.
Like if you can think of a solution that you can pass to that person when you say no, it just feels easier on your heart. But I'm not saying go out of your way and spend hours and hours and trying to recruit somebody to help you do this thing that you're not going to do because they may say no. So but just go, I can't do it, but I do know somebody who can. If you want if you want that. But then you have to let that attachment go that, well, why didn't you take my friend? Because my friend could have done. I've given you all that opportunity, and then that person who's peeved with you or whatever's giving you that excuse, they take on their whole agenda and story and crazy thinking.
But it's all about still coming back to that, my favorite word about responsibility is that I have the ability to respond here. And when you do it clearly with integrity and ownership, then anybody else that says, oh, why didn't you do it this way? It's because I did it this way. That's it. I have the ability to respond, and I am going to not create a big palaver about why I'm saying I can't do this right now.
Yeah. And I love the way she said, that's it. Moira just went, that's it. Like, that's it. I don't need to do a whole story and pay you for this and give you this and obligation down that path. Yeah. And I think I'm just going to jump into another tip because you said that about the responsibility is what's your outcome?
Oh, yes. I like this one, but you've shared this kind of thing before.
Which literally just jumps back to about your response. Like if you can't say, hey, Moira, I want to do this on this date with this, and this is what I'm looking at, and I'm looking to recruit Moira to do it. If you are not clear on what you're delivering, Moira is going to put her own input in.
Yeah.
But if you say, Moira, I would like this date, this time, this idea, can't even think of anything else, or like, and this is how I'd like it to run and look like this, If you can't say that, Moira is going to take over.
Yeah.
But if you can get clear on your outcome and you can articulate it, but not be so set and concrete that you're open to suggestions as well. Listen to the other person, seen, heard, acknowledged. If you can articulate that, that's your responsibility.
Yeah.
Because if you don't know your outcome, how the heck are they going to know it?
Well, yeah. And so there, you see, when you really know your outcome, it makes it so much easier for collaboration and requests, right? Because you are very clear. And in this scenario, like you're saying, if somebody came to me and said, this date, this amount of time, this content, this, I can say, no, I'm not available. But maybe you could, and it's done, right?
And that's okay.
Of course
That's okay. If I put this to Moira and she says no, or Moira puts it and I say, or she goes, you know what, I don't want that color, or I'd like this color, or like even the little things, those little things are actually big things.
Yes.
Those little things add up to big things. But if you can't articulate it, how the heck can Moira be my mind reader? Although she's been quite good at that lately in the last couple of podcasts. I look at her and start saying something and then she takes over.
And then I'll go in and do it. Can't depend on that though.
But yeah, but we can't all be mind readers. But that's exactly it. They can't be mind readers.
Yeah, so I'm adding to what's your outcome and be clear, right?
Yeah.
So is that and the person you are enrolling or requesting gets really clear, and then be the flexibility.
Specific and clear,
The flexibility can come in where the person says, I hear all the things that you want or that you're asking for. I'm not available for this, but how about this?
Yeah. Or how about you talk to my friend, or how about you talk to whatever, like, because when you're clear on it, they can actually go, oh, this is definitely not for me. This is definitely not for me. But the more they're talking about it, the more I go, oh, Moira can do that, or Deb can do that, or Anna, literally they're like, oh, yes. But if you only give them 10% of the information, they've got to fill in the 90. And that's where your expectations have a crash and burn.
But then, I was just thinking too, that's how excuses will come up. Like the excuses can be, well, you didn't ask for that.
You never told me.
You didn't say that. Yeah, you didn't. Yeah. I didn't know it was going to be like that. I didn't know that's what you wanted.
I didn't know you wanted 10 hours out of me. I thought you just wanted me to quickly put something together. It would take me 15 minutes. I didn't know you wanted 10 hours.
Yeah. And so that's those are yucky. Don't just feel into the energy of that. I feel that a yuck sense in my stomach with that kind of, you didn't tell me that. You didn't ask for that. You did. Right.
Well, that's where your frustration comes in. You're like, I did. And then you're like, did I? No, maybe I didn't, because I wasn't. Or and you're second guessing yourself. Yeah. I do love the 4 agreements. I'm going to go back to that because, when they say that, is don't take anything personally.
Right. But what we were just talking about the what's your outcome, that's being impeccable with your word.
And always,
So you're being impeccable with your word because you're saying, I am asking you for this. Are you willing? Are you able? Can you come through? That's it.
But it's also okay to not have 100% of the information. It's like, don't go, oh, I can't approach Moira to do this because I don't have 100% of the information. If you're asking someone to do something, Moira can fill in. If you come up with 70%, Moira can fill in the 30%, and it can be an open conversation, a transparency
100%. Yes.
thing. So when I say be specific and clear with your outcome, you may only have 80% of the outcome done, and that's okay. But 80% is better than I'll just ring Moira and ask her to help me. So how many hours is it? I don't know. Like the 80% is better than nothing.
Absolutely. Well, even if it's only 50%, because I'm thinking of conversations that I have with clients, it's like 40, 50%. Just show up with what you have.
Well, it's even clients who
we can dialogue.
Yeah.
Oh gosh, that happens all the time. I don't know what you're talking about.
I've been thinking about what to work on with you, but I don't really know. Okay, so what are you thinking about? Yeah,
let's just see where this goes then. And then by the end, I remember just recently an appointment, and we were nearing the end of the hour, and she's like, oh my God, the hour's almost done. How did that happen? It's like, well, because we've been unpacking the things that you really needed to unpack.
But I didn't really know what I came here for.
I know.
You didn't
But
need to.
every time that happens, I love those kind of conversations anyways, because that's what I'm saying. Even if you only showed up with, I'm thinking even 20%, 20, 30,
Yeah.
it doesn't matter. Show up with whatever you've got.
Yeah.
And together, that's the collaborative part, to own and ask
Partnership.
for. And
Yeah.
it is partnership. But
Yeah.
then actually allowing yourself to be guided and take it on. And it's really funny because I had a client conversation the other day too, where she showed me on camera, because I do everything on Zoom. She picks up her notepad that she still had all of the bullet points that she'd written down from our previous, and she says, I'm still working on integrating these. And so it's like a work in progress, like this co-created collaboration. It keeps going. But what I love about this is there is no excuses. Sometimes, and I'm thinking about, sometimes people, oh, I didn't do my homework. That's just, yeah,
I had someone
that's
who
okay.
said to me, oh, I want to cancel today. Can we move it to next week? And I'm like, absolutely no problem. What's going on that you're canceling? And they went, I haven't done my homework. I'm like, and for the record, I don't even like to give you homework. I
No,
don't
I
even,
don't. I
but if
give
you ask
suggestions
for
of what to
homework,
do.
yeah. But if you want homework, I'll give you stuff. Like, yeah, totally. But then they're like, I haven't done my, I'm like, well, you wanted it. Like, don't, like, you're the one who asked for it and you didn't do it. So it's okay. Just show up and let's deal with that. But I don't want you sitting for another week in your own internal headspace going, oh, I'm so bad. I didn't, I have to cancel
But
my homework. Like, that's not what I'm about. And it's not what Moira's about.
it's not what I'm about.
I'll
But
laugh at you. Definitely laugh at you when you get on the call. And I'll go, well, that seems a bit
I
crazy.
wouldn't laugh at you. I would help you unpack why you were talking like that, but I wouldn't laugh at you.
I'd laugh at you and then I'd howl.
But something that I just realized when you were saying that is that's almost like making excuses to yourself, for yourself. I'm a
Oh,
bad person because I didn't do this, because I let myself down. It's like that's even making
internal dialogue. Yeah.
excuses of your own relationship, you with you. Because that's actually something that I do a lot with my client conversations, is I'm really helping and holding space to help people become their own best friend.
Mm.
Because we need that. Each one of us, our own inner core self, is actually asking for our own unconditional love. But when we get into making excuses, doing woulda, coulda, shoulda, being, oh, I suck because I did this or didn't do that, that's not unconditional loving acceptance, is it?
Well,
And it's
that's
really hard to
for
kind of,
agreement. Be impeccable with your words again, isn't it?
yes, it is, because that's internal wording.
Yeah. Which the universe hears. Everyone still hears it anyway, just for the record, just because you're holding it and you're biting your tongue. Yes, you didn't open your mouth and it came out, but you're still showing it in other forms, your energy or whatever it is.
Well, that's that thing that says thoughts become things. That's not words become things.
yeah.
That's thoughts
See.
become things. So it's as soon as it's in your thinking. That's why, and you know that I like that. If I have a thought and I think, oh, that's a destructive
Love
thought, or
this.
that's a cancel.
And it literally just puts a little lightness into that thought.
Yes.
It's that quick. Yeah.
Well, because you see, there is a mental field. We can actually all tap into it. So there are thoughts, and that's actually part of why Deb likes it, or when I do the who said that?
Yeah,
Who said that?
well, it is. It's that changing your state straight away. Yeah.
But that's a thing. What I'm referring to is that I can have a random thought land, and then I go, oh, hey, wait a minute, that's not even my thought. I'm pulling it up from the mental field, and that's why it's so important to go, oh, wait, I'm not allowing that to sit in my vibration. Cancel.
Yeah.
It's not mine. But it requires a commitment to stay present and stay aware that we can take on other people's chattering state.
Yeah.
But sometimes we take it on and think it's ours, and it's not.
And it's not.
It's not.
Yeah.
A quick wee message before we get back to this episode. you can get access to a special gift Moira and Debz have put together for you. Go to deliciouslymotivatedmindset.com/gift. When you sign up, you'll receive instant access to an inner peace kit and the 30 Days of Wisdom program, both of which is intended to help you feel deliciously motivated right away. Go to deliciouslymotivatedmindset.com/gift.
Is it mine or your tip? I don't know.
I don't know, but it sounds
know.
like you have one to share.
I do have one to share, actually.
Well, go for it.
I have two words here, and they're called revenge and karma.
Oh,
Now,
okay.
Moira's like, oh, that's a heavy thing.
They're very heavy.
Yeah, they are. So when your tips to handle people full of excuses, you do not have to go, they've done this so many times, I'm done with them. What can I do to hurt them? What can I do? And you don't have to, because they've continued to tell the same excuse, you've allowed it, because you're taking accountability for this. You don't have to have revenge for them for what they've done. They've left me in the lurch at the very last minute. I look stupid, like any of that stuff. And karma is just a word that I just go, if you're worrying about karma and you're dealing with karma, you're not in your heart.
No.
So I want you to eliminate the revenge and the karma. The moment it comes into your head, uppercut yourself. Not really, but let it go, because if you're going on the revenge train, you're literally just putting icky energy out there to the universe, but it's going to come back in your own form anyway. And karma, if you're worried about that stuff, you're not sitting in your heart.
Okay.
Oh, here comes Moira.
Well, I'm surprised about that tip, because I don't know that anybody that really jumps into revenge or karma are going to be attracted to this conversation.
I had a new, and the reason I say that is because I had somebody the other day who said, I want to work with you. And they literally, it was one of the discovery calls. And they said, they've done this to hurt me and I want to hurt them back. And I was like, what? And I went, what the heck have I attracted into this? Where's this coming from? So that's why I'm saying the revenge. If you're getting on the revenge and karma train, you get yourself off as quick as you can, is basically, that's the only energy I want to put into it. If you're getting on the revenge and karma train, get yourself off, because that's cancel, jump, because that's not who you want to be in this world.
Okay.
And that's the end of that bullet point. Thank you.
That's just a bullet point.
That
So
is just
the thing
is
this feels a wee bit like, sometimes if we're looking at somebody, like judging somebody about, oh, they said they were going to do this and
all the time.
Yeah, if that's happening, then it's about, remember, you're the boss of you. And it's not about you needing to walk around with an agenda, right? Because sometimes the judgment of other people making excuses or breaking their word is, I need you to follow this protocol, read from this script, be like this. Well, that's your agenda.
Yeah.
Can you allow people to show up as they truly are? Warts and all. That's it.
Yeah.
And always come back to, maybe it's like, it's to always see things from an interesting perspective. Like, well, that's an interesting thing. I need to deal with this. The ball got dropped over here, so be it. And that it must mean that I can deal with this.
Yeah.
Have some fun, have a sense of play. This is supposed to be a game.
For agreements, be impeccable with your words again, doesn't it?
Mm-hmm.
It pivots all back to that stuff. But I love the way you've said put fun in there. Yeah.
Fun is such an important part. We forget. We get caught up in the mundane and the oh gosh, I'll have fun later at the end of the week, or when I have time. But we could actually choose to weave it into everything that we do.
I'll have fun when this job's done. Why don't you have fun all the way through, and that job will be done a lot quicker, a lot different, a lot like, yeah. So where is your glitter? Throw your glitter, you sprinkle your gold glitter for Deborah and your purple glitter for Moira. Sprinkle it around what you're doing.
Absolutely. And have the wee reminders around you. So you're saying purple glitter. So I've got my purple glitter on my nails. And so it's always there. Like it just helps me get back. And Deb's got her glitter water jug.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
But that's part of why I wear specific types of jewelry. I have specific types of crystals and things around me to help me remember to have fun, to embrace the sacredness of this life that I get to live, this game that I get to play. It is a game. When we get too caught up in agendas and that last tip that I didn't really like, Jim,
Yeah.
Deb bringing into this one, the
It's
revenge
literally
and
the
karma.
person I spoke to last week. Yeah. which I think if you're like, you just get off that train. But if the moment, and it's that cancel, but the
Mhm.
moment you put fun and glitter, it just, you
Yeah,
feel wrapped in a different energy, you can't have fun and glitter around you and be a grumpy bumpy.
yeah, yeah. And so it's just
Literally.
like, go do something that changes your state, that makes you smile, that just, and maybe that's like looking up at the clouds or looking at the flowers or taking a big breath of fresh air, something.
Yeah.
And just having that sense of maybe I need to sit and be for a little while.
And I think the thing is, I think of my PEMs, and I think, be aware of your PEMs, and I'm bringing that in as a tip, because your PEMs will make you fly off the handle. It'll take you to a 10, and it'll take you to a 0, and it'll take you to an 8, and it'll take you to a 3, and it'll take you beyond. So just acknowledge that. I know we talked about seen, heard, and acknowledged, but just acknowledge that. Well, no wonder I'm feeling this way, or no wonder their points have triggered me, or no wonder their excuses, they're just same excuses over and over. No wonder, because I'm this, and other times it hasn't affected me. And so just acknowledge that, and look at your PEMs. And the moment you can, I'm not a firm believer of labels, but the moment you can label it, you can literally just go, okay, that's what it is. But I'm not attached to the label. So you can put a label on it, go, well, no wonder, because I've had little sleep.
Yeah. It's
And
just an
then,
awareness. It's just an awareness.
yeah, and then you can move on.
Yeah.
Move on. Yeah.
Yeah. And so that stops the crazy making questioning in your head. Like, why is this pissing me off so much? Why is this happening? Why is that
Oh,
not
why?
happening? Why? Will always take you into negative places. Whereas we just go, oh, okay, it's because I didn't have enough sleep.
Yeah.
That's it. Done.
And did you see how quick? Because we didn't have enough sleep. Done.
Yeah.
Boom. Carry on. Because if you sit in that excuse even yourself, you're on that train, and there ain't a pleasant way to get off apart from jump and fall off your legs in the air. Yeah.
Well, sometimes when we're too caught in the thinking, and it's like you were saying about the PEMS check-in. So that's the mental check-in. I don't know about you, but I can have stories running like white noise, just blah, 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 blah. And until I pause for a minute and go, oh gosh, look at all of this dialogue, this diatribe that's going on. I can just like do whatever I need to do, write them out, the different dialogues or the conversations, and say, thank you. You are talking in the corner. I will actually say that to my inner committee. Go talk in the corner, because I'm not going to listen to you
It's
anymore.
like somebody actually described it the other day as having all the tabs open on your computer. Now, if you've got 70 tabs on your Chrome and you've got 70 tabs open, like your head is already going, like you're not.
Yeah, that's a good point. I don't have 70, but I've got a lot open there.
I have a lot. And every so often I take them all down and I put them into my notes, and I'll go back and I'll reference those, and they're still just sitting there. They've never been used. I even go right back to like 10 years ago. I've probably still got my tabs from that. But even just, and I know from my brain when I look and I go, oh, I've only got 6 tabs open.
Oh, good for
My
you.
I
I don't know
haven't.
what that feels like.
No, but even just doing that just goes, oh.
Yeah,
And
yeah. That's a
so
good check-in though.
So just, yeah, and check in your physical. Your physical won't lie to you. Your physical will go, oh my God, I've opened my turned on my computer. Now I've got to open, and then I've got to click on all 70 to make sure they're all activated, because I'm going to go back to them all day today, and then that's a 5-minute process. So you're drained by the time you actually get to your computer. Is that
something that I just thought of when talking
Uh-oh.
about this, and it's something that I'm going to need to go and do a wee bit of work on, is that I'm thinking, is it because of an excuse that I have a tab open? It could be an excuse that says, I'll leave that open because I'm going to come back to it. But if it's sitting there for 6 months, and maybe I'm not going to come back to it.
Well,
And I've
that's
made up an excuse or made up a thing, right?
it's the 4 Ds. Either do it,
Yeah.
delegate it, dump it, or
So do it, delegate, dump.
dump. Oh, what are the 4 Ds? I have to think about that. 4 Ds.
Oh, I quite like this.
Do, delegate, the 4 principles. Hang on. I have to Google this
Do,
here.
delegate,
Defer. That's
defer. So put it off.
So either do it. Yeah, either do it now, delegate it to someone else, defer it, meaning
I'm going to do it tomorrow.
But also, if you're going to defer it, you must honor yourself and do it, or you must then put it into the do, delegate, or delete. Like if it comes up the second time.
I totally agree with that. Because
then
if I defer it till next week and then it's still there and I haven't done it, then
it's a do or delegate or dump, delete. Yeah. Yeah. It's actually not dump, it's called delete. Do, delegate, defer, and delete. And even just with that allows you to move forward.
I really like those. Those really do help with internal excuses and excuses from other people, right?
Yeah, totally. Yeah, just do that. Just do that one thing. Because Moira's now just got a long list of things. And I look at all my tabs open, I go, okay, if Moira's going to look at it, probably wise for me to look at it too. I do talk about it, but someone the other day said, oh, how many tabs do you have open on your computer? And I'm like, I don't know. They're like, what, have you got over 50? Have you got 3? I was like, oh no, I've probably got about 50, 45. I was like, under 50. And
I'm thinking, looking at mine, I was about 30, I'm sure.
Well,
maybe
I've got
40.
Computers, and they're different ones. On the laptops opened a lot differently, ones to the ones on my iMac. But instantly, when she said that, I went, oh, that's heavy. I could feel that. Like my physical literally went, I can feel that. I can feel that.
So like you said, body doesn't lie.
Yeah. Holy gamoly, we've talked.
I know.
We've talked. Full of excuses here, people. We talked so much that we're going to go over time. So we're going to get this done very quickly.
Rattle through them.
Or not. We'll just do what we do. Yeah. So, tips to handle people full of excuses. If you've just joined us, welcome. But if you've been listening all the way through, grab your note-taking device because we're going to go straight into this with these tips.
They're wrapping it up
as quick as we can, as Deborah explains the whole thing. So, Moira, what's the first one that you've got?
First one I have here is that everyone wants to be seen, heard, and acknowledged, and that we need to be operating with respect and integrity. So if we're seeing lots of excuses around us, understand everybody's asking to be seen, heard, and acknowledged.
Yeah.
Right?
I love that. Explanations and excuses. If the obligation, there's a thing called people pleaser, and obligation comes in. If it feels right, then just cut them free.
Just let them off the hook.
Cut them free. Yeah, let them off the hook, and you.
Yeah.
Because sometimes if people are going, oh, I've got to do this, and you go, look, you know what? I found someone who can do it in half the time, half the price, or whatever. Like, but you don't even need to say all that excuse back to them. Just go, you know what? That's okay.
Yeah.
Well done. I'm going to continue on my own path or whatever. That's it. Done. Cut them free. Cut them free. Deborah's words. Yeah.
Let them off the hook. This didn't really come as a tip, but I thought it was funny when Deb says, how many excuses before you let go?
And your face.
And I was like, what? There is no answer here.
In fact, today would have been a great one to do a Facebook Live and see what we're actually, her face is like, what is she saying? Where is she going on that?
Yes, couldn't hide my reaction to that one. but that was where I think it's so important to trust your intuition. That was my tip, was to trust your intuition, because there is no, oh, after 2 excuses, that's when I have
Moira
to let
said
go. It's like,
3, Deborah said 5.
yeah,
Like,
but I
no.
feel like it should be 1. But you
That's
see,
it.
in my own way of navigating things like this, it'll be different every time. Every situation is going to be slightly different, and it really needs to be informed by your own inner guidance. What feels right for you? How does it make me feel about me? My favorite
And
question.
and that's your PEMS as well. Again,
Mhm.
valuable your PEMS are,
Yep.
because that will go, oh, well, that makes sense then. Yeah.
Yep.
The next tip I had was the 4 agreements.
Yes.
And Moira's great at pulling them out. I just have to have them right in front of me. And they're not in any particular order. Don't take anything personally. Be impeccable with your word. Always do your best and don't make assumptions.
Yes.
And if you can just even implement one of these into today, just go, okay, I'm not going to take anything personally. And just start, because when you start things, momentum builds. But if you can just go, okay, today I'm just going to not take, or even this week, I'm not going to take anything personally. I'm not going to worry about the other 3. Just start, because then
Just go for that.
will
Yeah.
flow
I love that.
naturally. It will flow naturally. Yeah.
Yep. And you start to embrace them.
Yeah.
The next tip I have here is, we talked about responsible. So no story. Like if you're needing to say, okay, I told you I was going to do this last week, but now I can't do it. It's about remembering that you have the ability to respond. One of my favorite words, always. But you can offer a solution. You can say, can I circle back to you next week? Or, I have this really good friend over here that they'd be great at doing it. Are you willing that I give them your name or your contact details, and things of that nature? So it's like you're owning where and what's going on for you, but you're being authentic and in integrity. So it's responding with what's correct for you in that moment, right?
Perfect. Perfect. I love that. I love the word integrity. I really love the word integrity.
Me too.
I've got down here is, what's your outcome?
Mhm.
What's the outcome and the expectations you're looking for? And be specific and clear on them, but also you don't have to know 100%. You're showing up at this time wearing this. I want your hair like this. It's like a bridal party. I want you looking like this. I want you there, and I only want positive energy from you, and da-da-da-da. And you're like, what? And if you can't do it, you say no, but also be aware of your outcome. But if you can only say, hey, I want you to be my bridal party, I don't know what it looks like yet, but I'm
Right.
open to hearing. So you may only have 20%. I want them to be in my bridal party, but the other 80%, let's collaborate and put this together. Let's go, what does that look like for you? What does that feel like from that? So just know that the 100% will be filled in as you go along. But if you can come up with at least 20% or 2% or 1%, then be open to the flow of what happens.
And just show up with what you've got. Because that was the next tip I noted down. It was when you were talking about how people say, oh, well, we were referencing the being impeccable with your words. Or people don't realize the energy that even if it's just a thought, that's still being impeccable with your word. And so I had said, thoughts become things. Always remember that thoughts become things. And that actually applies to what we were just saying about being clear on the outcome. You can have a thought and say, well, I don't really have the verbiage for this, but you can show up knowing that with the communication and collaboration, it will actually get fleshed out.
Yeah.
So helping you get clear on the outcome.
How have we not got trust in here?
Oh, trust is definitely part of it. Well, that's actually thoughts become things. Trust that you can
Trust.
envision it into being.
And my next tip is a very quick one. It is called revenge and karma. And the moment you see that happen, get off that train.
There you go.
That's it. Do not do that. It's not worth it. Too much energy and time and space. Focus on the beautiful outcome that is you in front of what's presented.
Absolutely. And totally shifting gears, my next one is have fun.
Yes.
Bring in a sense of play, lighten up. It's not all that serious. You can actually giggle and have fun, and it is supposed to be a game of life, right?
There was a thing over many years ago, and they talked about asking people when they're dying what would they have done more, and it's so common to go, I would have just not worried about the small stuff, or I would have just laughed more, or I would have just had fun, or I would have put gone outside more, all those things. So
Eating
don't
off
wait.
the fine china.
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely. Yeah, don't wait till that perfect moment. We actually have beautiful china. We're like, I'm going to buy this. I'm going to use it every day. And someone just recently said to me, "Oh, you can see the fading." I'm like, I know, it's been well used. Literally,
Love it.
and they were
Love it.
And only afterwards I was like, they were thinking, "Oh, you're using a good." Like, yeah, I know, and it's been well. Like, I look at it and I can see the fading, and I'm like, yeah, I'm not going to wait for that perfect
Celebrate
day.
it. Yeah, I love it.
Someone come once every 2 months to our house. No, they might as well just use it every day. Yeah. Don't put it in the dishwasher, I hear my mum say. Okay, mum.
Thanks, Mum.
Other people, yeah. Tips to handle people full of excuses, your PEMS.
Yes.
Your PEMS. And so your PEMS is incredibly important because it just gives you that awareness of, oh, no wonder because I've had lack of sleep. No wonder because I haven't eaten, or no wonder my brain is thinking this, and it's not taking it, you're not blaming the other person. You're actually acknowledging yourself and being aware of yourself, and you're going, oh, well, that makes sense. That makes
and
sense
just acknowledging it.
because I'm an 8. So when you're asking me and I'm an 8 out of 10 and 8 is chaotic, of course I'm probably going to say no, or I'm going to yell, or I'm going to cry, or I'm going to avoid, or whatever. But if you ask me on a 2, there's going to be a different thing. So just be aware of your PEMS and just know, okay, well, that makes sense. That makes sense. Yeah.
Love it. The last one that I have here, and I really like this, you said about the DDDD, the 4 Ds.
Yeah.
And this actually is superb tip on tips to handle people full of excuses, including us. And that's when we started talking about all the tabs that are open, and I'm looking at my computer going, yeah, gotta do this, gotta apply this. The 4 Ds. So it's do, delegate, delete, or defer. So you either do it right now, or you delegate it to somebody else. You delete it because it's not the right thing, or you defer it. So deferring to me means I'm going to put it off to another time, but it needs, to me, that would be really important to say, I'm going to put it to this time and then go and either do, delegate, or delete, right?
Yeah. I've got 46 tabs open.
Oh gosh.
I thought I had 30. Remember I said about 30?
Yeah.
So I've got 40, and that's in one computer. That's not even on the laptop that I'm on. But the one I'm just going to end with, because I do love that do, delegate, defer, and delete, is your physical body doesn't lie. If you're having a physical reaction when you see your tabs open, it's time to do something about it. If you're having a physical reaction because you're asking someone to do something and your physical's going, oh, then assess that. If your physical body is saying, I don't want to do this, then assess that, because your physical body is vital to you to moving, to thinking, to PEMing, to your PEMs.
To your PEMs, physical, emotional, mental, spiritual. So I just counted my open tabs and I have 28. So you got me beat. No. You got me beat. But 28 seems to be pretty high for me anyway.
Well, I think I might have more on my laptop as I just look at those. So I'm just going to quickly put my Moira back up across that so I can't see. Is that all you've got? Wow.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Okay, I've got 4. I thought I only had about 30. There you go. I've acknowledged it. I can see here and acknowledge it. It's there.
And now I'm going to run it through the 4 Ds.
Yeah, that's it. But do it quick. Do it quick. And that's it, because then it's just done, because otherwise it just hangs over. So woohoo, what a tip today. Tips to handle people full of excuses.
Love it.
Thank you for joining us on our podcast conversation here today. Now, one of the things we did at the very, very start was our PEMs, and we weaved our PEMs in through this. And our PEMs are a physical, emotional, mental, and spiritual. You did a check-in at the start. And then you checked in halfway, and then now you're going to check in. So let us know where you were at the start, halfway, and at the end. And where are you, Moira?
I'm a 0.5.
Same.
Well, I loved the conversation, but it's like that 0.5 is because I gotta go do these.
And 0.5 is exactly, I'm like, Moira's only got 20 something, I've got 46. I instantly jumped to comparison and then went, yeah, mine probably can easily be deleted very quickly with that do, delegate, defer, and delete. That's funny. So the 0.5 is, there's work to do.
It's just gotta go do this.
Which is literally going to be sprinkled with glitter and fun.
Most definitely. I'm going to giggle and go, oh my gosh, I can't believe that's been open all this time.
I know. I think that's going to be the funny. So definitely look at your tabs open, people. But in wrapping up today, if you like this, if you really liked what we said, gelled with how things worked, the next step is let us know what tip you loved. Let us know what tip you loved and share this with a friend or a colleague or a family member, because I would love you to share your tip and then get their comparison of what their favorite tip was, because it's just going to open up a whole different conversation and an energy field and amongst you with them. So, and let us know, because we like to know this stuff.
We like to know these things. Yeah.
Definitely. But thank you for joining with us today. It's a little bit longer than normal because Deborah was on the time clock. She did an exceptional job of that. There's my full of excuses because Deborah was on the time clock. Thank you for joining us today on our deliciously motivated mindset conversation on tips to handle people full of excuses. Thank you for joining us. We look forward to sharing our love and light next time. And thank you to Moira, and thank you to the internet. Whew.
Yes, very much. It's been good. Thank you, listeners. Talk to you next time. Bye.